Welcome to the Story World channel. Enjoy your viewing experience. As the sun sank below the horizon, a cloak of dust descended upon the city. Its weary inhabitants, as was their nightly routine, bid farewell to their television screens and settled into the embrace of sleep. The tranquil stillness enveloped the metropolis, save for a flickering light that emanated from the maternity ward of the city hospital. Within that realm of new beginnings, two nurses found solace in a whispered conversation. "Abigail, how much longer will you allow grief to consume you? He is gone, and it's for the best," Ginny uttered, earnestly searching for words to reassure her friend. "I comprehend it all, yet my love for him persists," Abigail replied, her voice a melancholic melody. "I am convinced it stems from my inability to grant him a son in the span of 10 years. While his friends revel in fatherhood, I am left barren," Abigail lamented, her spirit heavy. "At the age of 39, who needs me in such a state?" Alan exclaimed, tears shimmering in her eyes. "A genuine man would never forsake a devoted wife. Life has liberated you from him," Ginny consoled, her voice gentle and reassuring. In response, Alan remained silent. Ginny's words came with ease, for she was blessed with a loving husband and cherished children awaiting her return. Abigail yearned not to return to the desolate apartment, where the absence of Ben had cast a shadow upon her joy. The sanctuary of the maternity hospital, where she worked as a nurse, offered solace amidst the dreariness of her days. Each day, as she witnessed the radiant faces of parents cradling their precious babies, Abigail couldn't help but feel a faint pang of envy. She longed to hold her own child in her arms, enveloping them with boundless love and care, mirroring the adoring young mothers she encountered. Nursing had been Abigail's cherished dream since childhood. She would adorn herself in her mother's pristine white coat, gazing intently at her reflection in the mirror, envisioning the nurturing role she would one day fulfill. Recognizing her daughter's fervent desire, Abigail's mother wholeheartedly supported her journey. After completing her education, Abigail enrolled in nursing school and found herself working in the maternity hospital. Memories of her mother's unwavering encouragement flooded her thoughts, warming her heart. Alas, a treacherous illness claimed her mother's life a mere 6 months ago, leaving Abigail to bear the weight of profound loss. Ben, the man who had once been her partner, had cruelly abandoned her for another woman. Abigail found herself trapped in a realm of painful memories until Ginny's voice broke through the haze. "Abigail, let's make our way to the 7th ward. There's a young woman in critical condition in the throes of labor. She fell ill at the train station and lost consciousness. Apparently, she is homeless, her swollen belly suggesting the presence of twins. I anticipate a challenging delivery," Ginny shared, her tone laden with concern. Abigail shook off her melancholy thoughts, instantly drawn into the urgency of the situation. She followed her friend, surprised to discover that the woman in labor was incredibly young, barely looking 20, and on the brink of physical exhaustion. Approaching the girl with compassion and care, Abigail gently inquired about her well-being and her name. In the girl's eyes, a glimmer of hope ignited, reassured that she would find help and acceptance. Her name was Vanessa, but Abigail couldn't delve deeper into her story as they were swiftly interrupted by the onset of relentless contractions. An hour later, 3 precious lives entered the world, 2 boys and a girl. The department's head doctor, wiping his brow with a damp napkin, muttered wearily, "This is unbelievable. In all my years of practice, I have never encountered such a case." However, the girl Vanessa wore no trace of happiness. Tears glistened in the corners of her doe-like eyes, devoid of any ounce of joy. As the commotion surrounding the extraordinary birth gradually subsided, Abigail ventured into Vanessa's ward in the evening. Concerned, she asked, "Why are you sad, honey?" "You should be proud. 3 beautiful babies. Many people dream of such happiness." In response, Vanessa wiped away a tear, her voice tinged with a sniffle. "I have nothing to be happy about. Some people find happiness, while others do not." With those words, Vanessa turned towards the wall, withdrawing into her own world. Ellen shook her head, returning to her duties. The night promised tranquility, and Abigail sought solace in the pages of a modest novel about love. However, fate had other plans for her, disrupting the anticipated solace. Every noise reached Abigail's ears with heightened sensitivity. Suddenly, a collective cry pierced the air, a chorus of distressed infants. Proceeding cautiously down the corridor, Abigail traced the source of the cries to the ward housing the 3 newborns. As the nurse opened the door, a disheartening sight greeted her: windows wide open and an empty room, save for the trio of wailing infants. It became evident that Vanessa had fled from the confines of the maternity ward. Shock and concern consumed Abigail. She whispered in disbelief, "Why did your mother leave you?" Tenderly, she cradled each of the crying babies in her arms, offering solace and comfort. News of Vanessa's escape quickly spread throughout the maternity ward, causing a ripple of worry and sympathy among the staff. Sensing Abigail's exhaustion, Ginny approached her with care. "Abigail, your shift is nearly over. It's time to go home." "Your eyes betray the lack of sleep," Ginny expressed, her arms enveloping her friend's shoulders. "Jenny, thank you for your concern, but I'll stay a while longer. I'm not tired at all. I'll sit with them." "They need someone," Abigail responded, determination lacing her voice. Ginny regarded Abigail with a mix of understanding and skepticism. "You know they aren't your family, and they never will be. You're well aware of that. Good luck with your decision. I'm going home." Ginny bid her farewell, leaving Abigail alone with the babies. Undeterred, Abigail continued to care for the little ones, even though she had already surpassed her legal work hours. Only at the insistence of the head of the maternity department did Abigail reluctantly agree to go home for some much-needed rest. However, rest was the last thing on Abigail's mind. Instead, she made her way to the guardianship office, seeking information about the possibility of adopting one of the babies. The news she received struck a deep chord of disappointment. The officials explained that her current marital status and financial situation posed obstacles to granting her request. Abigail, divorced and a nurse with a modest income, realized she would need to improve her circumstances before pursuing adoption. The children would remain in the orphanage for the time being, a reality that weighed heavily on Abigail's heart. Frustration engulfed Abigail as she returned home. The injustice of the situation felt unbearable. Tears streamed down her face as she grappled with the bitter reality of being separated from the babies she had grown to care for deeply. Restlessly, she flipped through the pages of a tear-off calendar, longing for a glimmer of hope in the face of adversity. 3 months flew by, and throughout this time, Ginny persistently dissuaded her friend from pursuing custody of the babies. "Abigail, please come to your senses. Why burden yourself with such a heavy responsibility? 3 children will weigh you down. Focus on arranging your own life," Ginny implored, concern etched in her voice. "But you don't understand, Ginny. I love them, and they feel like family to me. I have faith that I can restore balance in my personal life," Abigail confidently replied. She had been visiting the children at the orphanage diligently every weekend, nurturing her bond with them. One day, while on her way home from work, Abigail caught sight of Vanessa. The weariness etched across Vanessa's face made her appear years older. Initially, Abigail contemplated walking by, but a wave of compassion washed over her, compelling her to approach the negligent mother. "Hello," Abigail greeted softly, her voice laced with disappointment. "I see that your conscience does not afflict you. How can you abandon your children and carry on as if it has nothing to do with you?" Vanessa averted her gaze, tears streaming down her cheeks as she attempted to wipe them away. "You see, I came to the city from the provinces when I was 18. I was promised a job as a hotel maid, but I was deceived and forced into a life I didn't choose. I became pregnant with a client's child, and they cast me aside. No place to call home, no money. I thought of ending my life, but I lacked the strength of will, Vanessa confessed, her voice laden with sorrow. Concern washed over Abigail as she processed Vanessa's words. Do you have any relatives? She asked, hoping for some semblance of support in Vanessa's life. No one. I am an orphan, Vanessa replied, her voice tinged with desolation, tears flowing freely. All right, sweetheart, stop crying. Come with me, Abigail gently urged, extending her hand to Vanessa. In the comfort of Abigail's home, over a cup of tea, Vanessa shared her anguish, while Abigail listened attentively. Abigail reassured Vanessa that the babies, named Thomas, Molly, and Greg, were thriving. Vanessa's face lit up with hope as she absorbed the heartening news. Yes, I visit them regularly, Abigail affirmed, detecting the echoes of care and longing in Vanessa's voice. Determined to assist Vanessa in finding stability, Abigail took action the next day. She leveraged her connections and helped Vanessa secure a job at a supermarket where one of her friends had been seeking additional cashiers for the sales area. It was a small step towards stability and independence for Vanessa. The journey of love and redemption had begun as Abigail opened her heart and extended a helping hand to the weary soul who had once abandoned her children. Upon hearing the offer, Vanessa's face lit up with happiness. There you go, honey. See? Life is gradually improving. Now, we need to carefully plan our next steps to regain custody of the children, Abigail exclaimed, a smile of encouragement adorning her face. This time, before approaching the guardianship office, Abigail prepared meticulously. She gathered references from her workplace, compiled income data, and sought guidance from a lawyer to ensure she was well-versed in the intricacies of the guardianship application process. The guardianship service was taken aback to see Abigail return, yet this time her paperwork was flawless, and her petition was swiftly approved. Thanks to her unwavering persistence and determination, after about a month, Abigail and Vanessa were finally able to bring the children home from the orphanage. Their work schedules allowed them to take turns caring for the children, stepping in for one another whenever needed. Time seemed to slip away swiftly. Before the two women could fully comprehend it, a year had already passed. Vanessa had successfully adapted to her work at the supermarket and was recognized as one of the top salespersons. Abigail, continuing her role in the maternity ward, found profound meaning in her work, knowing that she had her own precious children awaiting her at home. While Abigail acknowledged that true happiness felt incomplete without a loved one by her side, she chose not to dwell on that aspect. Instead, she reveled in the joyful chaos and laughter that echoed through their once empty apartment. It was a sanctuary of love and warmth. As for Vanessa, a pleasant surprise entered her life, a young man named Edward. The modest girl rarely spoke about him, but Abigail knew his name and that he worked as a security guard at the same supermarket where Vanessa was employed. Their connection evolved gradually, beginning with shy glances and gentle smiles. Over time, it blossomed into a first date, filled with anticipation and excitement. Vanessa held deep fears that Edward would be deterred upon discovering that she was a mother of 3. However, to his credit, Edward proved to be a genuinely decent man. He was unfazed by the presence of the children, seeing their innocence and the love they shared with Vanessa as a beautiful aspect of her life. With each passing day, the bond between Vanessa, Abigail, and the children grew stronger. Their journey of transformation and redemption was a testament to the power of love, resilience, and the profound impact that compassion and support can have on one's life. Together, they forged a new path, embracing the joys and challenges that lay ahead, all while cherishing the gift of family that fate had bestowed upon them. Edward, as it turned out, had grown up without his mother, raised solely by his father throughout most of his childhood. The revelation brought forth curiosity from Vanessa, who inquired, "Are you in love, Vanessa?" Vanessa's face lit up as she responded, "I am," He's such a wonderful person. He asked me to marry him, and we've already set a date. It will be an intimate ceremony with close friends, followed by a celebration at a restaurant. Wow, that's incredible news. Well done, and thank you for letting me know in advance. I'll need to find a proper dress, Abigail remarked, her smile radiating genuine happiness for Vanessa's blossoming love story. It was heartening to witness her friend's life taking a positive turn. As the months sped by, the much-anticipated wedding day arrived. At the ceremony, the young couple exchanged rings, surrounded by their colleagues and Edward's father. After the heartfelt exchange of vows, they proceeded to the restaurant to celebrate their union. Abigail, considering the welfare of the babies left in the care of a nanny, decided to return home. However, to her surprise, George, Edward's father, volunteered to accompany her. "What should I do here with the young people?" "Let them have fun," he explained, recognizing Abigail's curious gaze. During their journey to Abigail's house, conversation flowed between them. George shared the struggles he faced after his wife's passing, expressing the difficulty of finding new meaning and companionship in his life. His voice held a hint of melancholy as he spoke, revealing the void that still lingered within him. Upon entering Abigail's apartment, George couldn't help but notice the absence of a man's touch. Observing the creaking hinges of the door, he remarked, "These hinges need some oiling, and that hanger in the hallway could fall off. Why don't I come over tomorrow with some tools and fix everything?" Abigail welcomed the idea with a smile, grateful for the offer of assistance. "Yes, I don't mind at all. And for now, there's a cake waiting for us," Abigail replied, her eyes sparkling with warmth. The evening unfolded in a pleasant and comforting atmosphere. Abigail found herself immersed in a sense of serenity she hadn't experienced in a long time. Together, they played with the children, laughter filling the air, creating treasured memories. As the night drew to a close, George bid his farewell and returned to his own abode. True to his word, George fulfilled his promise. Within a week, he arrived at Abigail's apartment armed with tools, ready to mend the creaking hinges and secure the wobbly hanger. Ellen was delighted to have such a kind and welcomed guest, appreciating his genuine care and dedication to making their home a more comfortable place. In the union of Vanessa and Edward, Abigail found renewed hope and a sense of interconnectedness. The intertwining paths of their lives brought forth unforeseen connections, uniting hearts and homes in a beautiful symphony of love, support, and shared moments of joy. And as they continued on their intertwined journey, Abigail couldn't help but feel a deep gratitude for the newfound bonds they had forged. Unbeknownst to themselves, Abigail and George's relationship blossomed from friendship into something more profound. Their connection grew, nurturing a bond that left them feeling like teenagers once again. Eventually, they mustered the courage to reveal their love to the delight of Vanessa and Edward. "Now we have another wedding to look forward to," exclaimed the joyous newlyweds in unison. Abigail and George shared a knowing smile, their hearts brimming with contentment. 3 months later, they formalized their union, legalizing their relationship in a ceremony filled with warmth and love. Choosing to embark on a new chapter together, Abigail moved to George's small house located on the outskirts of the city. It became a haven for their blended family, a place where nature's embrace and fresh air served as a backdrop to their shared happiness. Vanessa frequently brought the children to visit, cherishing the opportunity to witness the bonds of love and unity that had formed. In this idyllic setting, Abigail finally found complete happiness. By her side was her beloved partner, George, a pillar of support and love. The triplets, whom she wholeheartedly embraced as her own, filled their home with joy and laughter. Vanessa, whom she cherished like a little sister, brought an additional layer of warmth and connection to their family. And 6 months later, Abigail received the life-changing news she was pregnant. The anticipation and excitement filled the air, igniting a spark of joy within both Abigail and George. They couldn't quite determine who was more elated by this wonderful revelation. Nevertheless, they both recognized that their home had become a sanctuary of happiness and love, a place where the seeds of a beautiful future were sown. Embracing the journey that lay ahead, Abigail and George felt blessed to have found one another, building a life based on a foundation of unwavering love and mutual support. They understood that happiness had taken up residence in their home, and with love as their guiding compass, they were ready to face any challenges that came their way. Their hearts were full, and they eagerly awaited the arrival of their precious new addition, knowing that their united love would continue to flourish, painting their lives with vibrant hues of joy and fulfillment.